So, the FDA has announced that they are removing the black box warnings from hormone replacement therapy. Yay. A long time coming. We've had some physician colleagues who went before the FDA earlier this year who really pushed to make this happen, and it's finally here. It's finally here and finally happening. And unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've at least seen the headlines. This is the biggest news event for women's health in the last 20 years. So huge news, and very beneficial for us women as a whole going forward. So very exciting. But even with all of the buzz and all of the talk that's been going on about hormone replacement therapy, and this change, a lot of people are saying that they don't really understand what changed, why it changed, and what it means for their symptoms, their risks, and their long-term health going forward. And it makes sense that, having a million headlines a day, nobody's going to stop to, read what RFK Jr. or whatever the heck his name is said about, hormone replacement therapy. They don't care. Nobody cares. So it makes sense that a lot of people didn't fully read what all was going on because it was just kind of in one ear and out the other. We get it. But today I want to address it. I want to break it down so that it's simple, where we talk about what the FDA changed, why it matters, how we got here in the first place, and what it means for your body, your hormones, and your quality of life just going forward. My name is Nakia. I am a nurse practitioner, hormone specialist, and the founder of BodiBloom Health and Wellness here in San Antonio, Texas, and this is the BodiBloom Show. I love that women are talking openly about menopause. We are in Facebook groups, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're all over the place in all of these groups, and everybody is talking and sharing their experiences. This is no longer a silent, quiet thing. Everybody's talking about it. We're comparing notes, sending articles, talking about what works for this, what works for that. Well, this worked better for me, that worked better for me. It's amazing that this community has all come together and we're all sharing with one another ways to help this space of our lives that all of us are going to go through. So this is amazing. The problem that I'm seeing, and this is why we're here today, is that even though women know that there was a big FDA announcement, they don't really know the details. They're asking questions like, is estrogen safe? Is it going to give me cancer? Does this FDA change apply to me? What did they change? Should I consider hormones? Day in and day out, over and over again. And then also, why are doctors giving me mixed messages? Most women saw the headline. They don't understand the full meaning behind it. So let's dig into that. So before we talk about the FDA change, we need to go back to where all of this started. In 2002, a huge government study called the Women's Health Initiative, or WHI, the study came out and the headlines went wild. It was a huge study on over 161,000 women. And the headlines from what they actually stopped the study early and said, oh, hormones cause breast cancer. Oh, hormones cause heart attacks. Oh, hormones are dangerous for women. The doctors freaked out. The women freaked out. Hormone therapy use dropped at a minimum 40% just overnight. And no one ever really explained the study correctly. They never told women that the study was done on women who were much older than you would think. The average age was 63. They weren't studying women in their 40s in perimenopause. They weren't studying women in their 50s. They were starting them at 63 years old. Many of them were already 10 to 15 years past their onset of menopause, and they already had health issues. They were using hormones back then that we aren't even really using anymore today. They were using synthetic progestins and synthetic oral estrogens. So the hormones that we have today are not the same as what they were using in the study. The progestin is a known carcinogen. So yeah, you're going to see more cancer with a known carcinogen. So anyway, I rest my case. That's for another day. The study itself wasn't designed to measure breast cancer. They actually started the study to look for heart disease. That's why they were doing this, to see the effect of hormone therapy on heart disease. But then people popped up with breast cancer, and so they stopped it all early and freaked out. Modern research shows that younger women, those starting hormones closer to their menopause age, have a totally different risk profile than the ladies that they studied. So basically, the Women's Health Initiative scared women off by using data that didn't even represent them or the hormones that we use now. Fast forward 20 years, and this is where we're finally seeing our shift. Earlier this month, in November 2025, the FDA announced that they were removing the old, outdated black box warnings from the hormone replacement therapy products. These are the big, bold, scary warnings based on that Women's Health Initiative study that we just talked about, because they don't match the science. And we've had years and years and years, 20 years now, of additional studies that show that bioidentical hormones are safe. The FDA had said initially that the hormone replacement therapy caused breast cancer, heart attack, stroke, dementia, and now those are the warnings that they're taking off of the boxes. That is going to be on the estradiol patches, creams, gels, sprays, low-dose vaginal estrogen, which are all newer formulations than what we had back in 2002. What is going to stay is the warning about endometrial cancer for women who use estrogen alone who have a uterus, because we do know that we need to have progesterone to kind of offset the proliferation or the encouraging of cell growth on the uterus. So that is something that we do watch for, but we counteract with progesterone. So the FDA has added something important. They're now clearly stating the risks and benefits, and they're saying that it depends on timing, meaning starting hormone therapy around the time that menopause begins or before the age of 60 is generally the safest. Even that's not quite true, but it's a start. We'll take it. So one thing that women need to understand is that the FDA didn't just wake up and say, oh, we need to change these things like they did with the Tylenol. So this actually happened because we've had doctors and specialists who were going for this change for years. They had the information, they had the studies, they had the science to prove that the information that we had was wrong. So they went for many, many years, and then now most recently back in, I believe it was July, before the FDA, and proved to them that the information that they had on the side of the boxes was incorrect and outdated and harmful to women. So you can thank the amazing leaders such as Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who went before the FDA and they talked about these changes. There's still more to come on that, such as testosterone, but we'll get there. So what they did was they presented their updated research. They showed the safety of modern hormone therapy. They explained the old warnings and how those were harming women. And they demanded better labeling. But even with the good news, a lot of women and a lot of doctors are all still hesitant. And it makes perfect sense. We get it. You know, nobody wants to trust the government since the last 5 years or so with all the crazy stuff that's happened. So I understand. We are living in a time where women's health feels political, confusing. It's constantly getting debated. Women have seen decisions made about their bodies that don't feel protective at all. And the trust has just been demolished. So it's no wonder that people are saying, well, why now? Is this just a political move? Who's benefiting from this? Can I trust it? What are they hiding? What are they downplaying the risks? Women have been misinformed before. Women have been dismissed before. So the skepticism is totally understandable. But here's the important distinction. The FDA update was not the government leading the change. It was the doctors. It was the government correcting an old misunderstanding because the clinicians demanded that they update it because it was harming women. Another thing that we need to acknowledge is that sexism plays a role in all of this. Women have been excluded from medical research up until the 1990s. Most drug dosing is still based on male physiology, hence, we don't have an FDA approved testosterone for women. Women's symptoms are constantly minimized. Oh, it's just part of aging. Oh, just suck it up. Oh, you'll be fine. Men are getting health optimization. They get TRT. They get, different modalities to get them to feel better. But women just get to survive. And sometimes, this sexism shows up in small but symbolic ways, like my hormone creams. My estrogen is in a pink bottle, and my testosterone in a blue bottle. Pink for women, blue for men. It's subtle, but it sends a message. Men's hormones are medical and women's hormones are optional or cosmetic. It's cute. It's fun. No, it's not. But this is what has shaped how women are treated in healthcare and how seriously our symptoms are taken or not. So, what does the FDA change mean for you? It means estrogen therapy is safer than we thought it was. Modern forms like the patches and the creams are much safer. We have bioidentical hormones now, which are much better than the synthetic non-bioidentical forms than we had before. It's more personalized now. You're not getting a one size fits all. You're getting personalized care from one of the many hormone specialists that are around now. And we now know that untreated estrogen deficiency carries its own set of risks. Bone loss, fractures, dementia, heart disease, all of these things are side effects of our loss of estrogen. And women deserve updated evidence-based care. You do not have to live like that. You don't have to suffer because another generation before you suffered. It's okay to feel better. So we talk about who's a candidate, who can get hormone replacement therapy. And, basically anybody that starts having symptoms. Our progesterone starts to decline in our 30s. That's usually the first to go. So by 35, some people are already having some symptoms, but typically it starts in your 40s and 50s and then progresses on to menopause. So perimenopause is that period where your hormones are declining, you have these symptoms, and menopause is actually when you've lost your cycle and you've not had a period for 12 months. That's menopause. So other issues or things to consider when you are considering hormone replacement therapy. So do you have any active cancers? Breast cancer itself is not a contraindication, despite what you may think and what you've been told. It is not necessarily a contraindication to getting hormone replacement therapy, nor are clotting disorders. So we are changing things up. So almost everybody can have some form of hormone replacement therapy, even if it's just local vaginal estrogen for protection of the vaginal walls, prevention of UTIs, things like this. So most women can have some form of hormone replacement therapy. So with the FDA removing the black box warning, it wasn't a small update. It was a major correction to what we've been told for the last 20 plus years. It was an acknowledgement that women deserve better than fear-based medicine. Women deserve clarity. We deserve options, and we deserve to feel like ourselves again. I kid you not. I thought I was dying. I thought I had to have some terminal illness or something. I felt so bad and nobody would listen to me, which is why I am where I am today, because I took matters into my own hands. I've had to search high and wide to find somebody who would actually treat me. And because it was so difficult to find that, I became the practitioner that I so desperately needed. So if you search out there, you do have hormone specialists They're all over, but you just have to search for them. So if this episode helped you to understand the FDA changes and maybe a little bit of history as to the who, what, where, when, and whys of hormone therapy, share it with a friend, or maybe your whole menopause Facebook group, or any woman that you know that is going through this change of life. For personalized hormone support, you can book an appointment with me if you are in Texas, Florida, or Virginia at bodibloomhealth.com. It's BODI health.com. Thank you for joining me and for this very first episode of the Body Bloom Show. Until next time, we'll see you.